Hello my beautiful people, yeah, welcome back to my channel. God bless you for clicking on this video. So today we'll be making this dress, so you can modify it to your own desire, to whichever way you want it. Okay, you can adjust the sleeve, you can do it just the way you want. So I have actually made the basic dress. I have a video on this channel on how to draft a basic bodice pattern, so it is just a straight dress. So I want to show you how to make the sleeve and the neckline. So we have cape at the neckline and a collar, that is one step collar, also known as the Chinese collar, Mandarin collar, or bishop collar. So I just did it to my own taste, so the way I want it, but I'll be showing you how to cut it the right way. Okay, so if you're new to this channel, you are very much welcome to the family. You can see I was dancing for you, so please hit on the subscribe button to join this wonderful family. Just subscribe, it is free. Hit on the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you not miss out on any of my videos. Okay, so I upload videos on sewing tutorials, fashion tips, and DIYs. So now let's get to the working table. Let me show you how to make the sleeve and the neckline. Okay, I have my fabric here, my African print, and I'm using taffeta. You can use whatever you like, whatever fabric you like, satin or any fabric of your choice to combine. And this is my lining fabric. Okay, so this is what I have at hand for now, and I'm making use of it, and it will still come out beautifully. So I am done joining it, so you can see I fixed the lining and sew everything. So I just did this part off camera because I know that most of you already know how to do this. I just want to lay emphasis on the neckline and on the sleeve. So that is what we'll be doing right now. So the neckline, it has cape and bishop collar or Chinese collar, also called Mandarin collar. So I'll be showing you how to do that. So we'll make the cape and the collar. So to make the cape, I'll be cutting a 360-degree flare. Okay, so on this channel I have explained how to cut a 360-degree flare, but let me still explain it. So to cut your flare, you need to know your radius. So your radius is gotten by dividing your round measurement by 6.28. So that is for 360-degree flare. Okay, it's 360. Whatever your circumference is, divided by 6.28. So this is gotten from mathematics, pi r square, that is circumference, radius of a circumference or something like that. So I don't want to go deep into it, but this is just what you use to divide your circumference. So wherever you be joining your flare to, you measure around it, divide it by 6.28. So I would measure my neckline, okay, and divide it by 6.28. So I would measure the round neck. So by the time I measure the round neck, I'll divide it by 6.28. So starting from the back here, I would measure all the way to the other side. So what I have here is 19 inches. Okay, so I have 19 inches. So 19 divided by 6 points. So my circumference is 19 divided by 6.28. That is 3 inches. Okay, 3 inches. So I'll just add half inch to this. I'll add half inch to it so that I'll be able to sew my lining. Okay, so that is it. I'll be using 3.5 inches. So that is what I'll need for my radius. So now my radius is 3.5. Then the length of my cape, I want it to be 4 inches. Okay, so to get the length of fabric to cut, your radius plus the length of your flare or your cape So mine is 3.5 plus 4. So I want the cape to be 4 inches. So that is 7.5. Meaning I would cut my fabric, that's I'll fold my fabric based on this 7.5. So to know the length of fabric to fold, like I said, for me it's 7.5. You just measure out 7.5 on your fabric, okay? Add extra inches for allowance, okay, because you be sewing lining to reach. You have to add extra inches, like half inch for your lining, half inch at the top and half inch for joining at the bottom. So you're adding 1 inch. So that is what you need for just one part of your fabric. So what in essence, whatever you have here, multiply it by 2, because we are folding the fabric, so you have to fold this way and this way, okay? So you need to have up to 7.5 here and 7.5 on this side. I hope this is clear. So like I said, you have to times by 2 is to know, to get times 2 of what you have here, like this part now. Make sure you have up to 15 inches here, and make sure you also have up to 15 inches on this other side. So that is what it means. But because of your allowance, add extra. So let's say you will use 1 inch allowance, that is 16 inches, then just make it 17 so you have space to cut out from. So you just fold based on that 17. And since I don't want this part to come into my flame, I'll just exclude that side, that is minus that side, and I have 17. So you're folding your fabric into 2 like so, okay, to get your flame. So by the time you have folded like that, then you fold like this again, okay. So by the time you measure this part, it's going to give you 7.5 plus 1 inch for joining your lining, that is 8 inches, okay, or 8.5. So you can see what I have here. I have 8.5 here, and on this side you will be able to get your 8.5. So that is just it. So in order not to waste your fabric when you're cutting your flay, you should just do this. By the time you have gotten your radius, add it to the length of your flay, how long you want your flay to be, multiply it by 2. That is what you fold on. I hope this is clear. So now, like I said, I'm using 8 inches. That is 8.5. 7.5 plus 1 inch for joining my lining. That is 8.5. So I'll just mark on 8.5. So this is just the total length. Okay, I'm just marking the total length, but you have to mark out the radius, or let me just go straight to doing that. So like I said, the radius is 3.5, right? So you just measure out your radius. So you mark your radius all round 3.5. So just mark it all round like so. Okay, so this is my radius. So I have a detailed tutorial on this channel on how to draft and cut your 360-degree flay. So this one I'm just going straight to point because we are making a cape here. So by the time you have cut out this point, like as I was doing before, you can mark the total length and mark it also, or you just take 5 inches. You can see it's still the same thing, okay. You can see it's still the same thing. That is why I'm taking 5 inches, my 4 inches length for my cape, and extra 1 inch. So the extra 1 inch, half is for joining to, that is for folding the lining, and half is for joining the cape to the neckline. So I'm just including everything here. So I'm marking the length now of my cape plus the 1 inch allowance. So I'll just hold it down with pin because my fabric is moving. So I'll just hold it down with my pin, then I'll go ahead and cut it out. So I have it here. So now I'll cut it out. So I hope you understood what I'm doing here. So this is my 360-degree flare. Okay, this is my 360-degree flare, and I would cut it into two. I'll cut it into two because I want to use, you can see the cape is like having 180-degree flare on one side and 180-degree flare on the other side. So I'll just open this into two, okay, and we'll have it like so. So what I'll do now is to cut it open, but before then let me cut out the lining. So I'll use this to cut out the lining. So I have my lining here. So like I said, I want it to be 180-degree flare on each of the sides. I have one on one side like this and one on the other side. So I'll just go ahead and cut it open. So let me just place it as an example. So just get the midpoint of the neckline and I'll place it like so to the back. Okay, and the other one too go like so to the back. So this is just the lining and the main fabric. So let me cut it and go ahead and stitch it together so you see what we have. Okay, so just open it. I'll cut this side open and cut this side open. So I'll do same for the main fabric. So having gotten it like this, I'll then go ahead and line it. Okay, so if you are doing this with a pattern fabric, you place your lining on the right, on the good side of the fabric, the right side, so that by the time you finish stitching, you turn it. So I'll go ahead now and stitch. I'll close up this side like so. Okay, I'll close up all this side, then leave this side open for turning it. So that is what I'll do right now. So I've sewn it, as you can see. So the next thing to do is just to trim it out a little bit, then notch it. Okay, so now I'll just turn it to the other side. So after turning it, I'll give it a good press. Okay, so this is it after ironing it. So now I would attach it to my dress. Okay, so one will come this way to the back and the other one will come this way to the back. So but before that, I'll just mark the midpoint of my dress. I think the midpoint of the neckline. So this is the midpoint. So this is the midpoint of my neckline. So the cape will come from there, but looking at the one on the screen, I think there's a little space here. So I'll just mark 1/4 inch on this side and 1/4 inch on this side. Okay, so this one will start from this 1/4 inch here, and this one will start from this side. So it depends on what you want, okay, but I'm just trying to see if I can get exactly what is on the screen. Okay, so trying to push out this side a little more. So I'll have it like so. Okay, so I'll go ahead and stitch it all round to the back like so, and stitch this one to the back, and we'll have it like so. Okay, so after stitching this, I will then show you how to make the collar. Okay, so I've sewn the cape to the neckline. You can see what we have here. Okay, so the next thing now is to make our collar. That is the standing collar or Mandarin collar. It has different names. So to do that, I'll be drafting on a paper just to make it clear to you. Okay, so I have a paper here, so you can just draw a line. So I already have a straight line on my paper. I already have a straight line on my paper. Now you measure the round neck. Okay, so you measure what you have here, the round neck. You measure it. So what I had when I measured it was 19 inches, right? So, but I will use 20 because it will be better for it to be excess than for it to, be short. That is why I'm using 20 is this. I want it to, by the time I get to this place, I can just use my hook and eye to, bring it together. That is, this is hook and eye. So this is what I'll be using to bring it together. But if you want your zipper to get to the collar, okay, sometimes the zipper can get to the collar and you zip it up. So by the time you measure what you have here, include your zipper allowance. Okay, so include your zipper allowance. So for me, I'll take 20 inches to be the round neckline. So by the time you have marked a straight line, what you do now is to place half of your round neckline. So since I'm using 20 inches, the half of the round neckline is 10 inches. So I would mark 10 inches. Okay, so I'd mark at 10 inches. Here it is. Then by the time you mark at 10 inches, also mark half of 10 inches. So but that is by the time you place half of your neck line, you also place quarter of the neckline. So in essence, by the time you place this, half of this, you also mark it. So you just mark. Okay, so at this point where you marked your 10 inches, let me be sure because I already have a point there before. So this is it. You just draw a straight line about 4 inches. Okay, so I didn't measure it, but about 4 inches or thereabouts. You can use 3 inches, you can use 4 inches. So by the time you have drawn this line, what you will do, you come here and you mark 1 inch. Just come up by 1 inch. Okay, so by the time you come up by 1 inch, you connect it with a curve to this midpoint. So you just make a curve from there to this midpoint. So you can use your French curve to do that, or you use your free hand, whichever one. All you need to do is just make a curve from this point to this point like so. Okay, and you have it. Now from this very point, take the length of your collar, how long you want it to be. So you can take from 1 to 2 inches depending on what you want. So I'll go with 1 inch. Okay, so I'll go with 1 inch, but because I would be folding the collar, I would make it 1.5. So that I'll use the half inch for folding it because we'll be cutting 2 of the collar. So let me use 1.5. So I have it here. Okay, so now from this point also measure 1.5. that is, measure the length of your collar plus the allowance you're adding, and at this point you also measure your 1.5. You mark your 1.5. So you also connect from this point to this point using a curve, but before that, just connect this one with a straight line like so. So just connect this one, then you also connect this one with a curve. Okay, like so. So it is very simple. So you have it here. So by the time you have connected it like this, you go ahead and you cut. So this is it. Okay, so you can see I'll cut it out. So if you're doing this on your fabric, you have to place your fabric on fold. Okay, so this is just what I'll cut out. So there are different ways of cutting this Chinese collar, but just for the purpose of this very tutorial, this is the one I would use. Okay, so I would making a video on how you can achieve different types of Chinese collar. So for now, this is what I have. So I'll place my fabric on fold and cut out this shape. So I'll just place it on fold. Just place it on fold, and I'll place this one like this. So remember that this is the edge, that is, this is the folded side, the side that is supposed to be folded. So you just place it like so, and you cut it out. Okay, so I'll cut it out, and after cutting this out, I'll still fold my fabric and cut another one because I want two of it. So now I would cut. So you can actually mark it out to make it easy for you. You just trace it out, then you cut. So now I will cut it out. So I have it here. Okay, so I'll still fold my fabric and cut, and cut another one. So you can see the collar. You can as well trim this edge, that is, curve it out a little bit. So just curve it out. Okay, so this is what I have. So now looking at the collar, you see that it is bendy somehow, that is, it's curvy somehow. So this part that is curvy is the part that will be attached to the dress, while this side is the top of the collar. That is, this how it will be. Okay, so you can see it standing. Hope you can see this how it will be. So this curvy part will be attached to the dress. So what I'll do now is to place both of them right side facing each other, like so. Then I would stitch this top part. Okay, this part that is the top, I would go ahead and stitch it now. Then one other thing is you can also add interfacing, that is, you can add hairstay to make it firm, but my fabric is thick enough, so I don't need hairstay. So in case you're using a fabric that is light, you can, iron hairstay to it to make it firm. So I'll just stitch this top part. So by the time I stitch this top part, I'll then attach this side to the dress. So I'll stitch from this part like so. Okay, leaving a little bit, like about ½ inch here. I'll stitch to this point, leaving about ½ inch here. So the ½ inch is to help us to be able to join it to the dress. Okay, so I'll show you that. So let me go ahead and stitch this top part. So I have stitched this side. The next thing is to turn it. So you can notch it as well before turning it. Okay, so I've stitched it, as you can see. So the next thing now is to turn it to the other side. Okay, so you can see I left a little at this side, so I'll turn it now. and give it a good press. So after giving it a good press, this is what I have. So you can see my collar is ready. Okay, so now I would attach it to my dress. I would attach it to the dress. Okay, so one other thing is this, please, when you are marking your collar, that is the process of drafting it, make sure you measure it, okay, to be sure that it's up to the length that you should have, that is the neckline. Okay, then you can also go ahead and match it up. So you can go ahead and match it up from your dress to be sure that you have enough, that to be sure that it matches up. You just take it round like this. So it's actually better to have excess. You can always reduce it than having shortage. If it's not up to, it means you have to make another one. So you can see what I have here. So I have a little extra, and it's okay for me because I'll be using my hook and eye to overlap the little that is remaining. So if you're going to use your zipper, that's if your zipper would be extending to the collar, what you should do is add your zipper allowance. So at this side you should have the zipper allowance, at the other side you should also have it, so that you can sew your zipper to it. So now, having done this, matched it up, and I see that it is okay, I'll just fold it and I'll notch the midpoint. Okay, so I'll just notch the midpoint, just slightly notch it. Okay, so this is it. I'll go ahead now and attach it. So to attach it, depending on the side you like, okay, so I prefer this side. So this side will be at the top, that is, this side will be out like this for me. So what I will do, I will just match the mid, I will also notch the midpoint or mark the midpoint, so the previous mark is still there. This is the midpoint, so I would just pin it to it. So this is what you should do. Okay, since I want this side to be out, I'll turn it over like this. Then I will sew this inner one first. This, just watch what I'm doing. This side will be out, so I'll first of all sew the inner one like so. Okay, just open it up, attach this part like so. By the time we finish sewing it, I'll turn it back like this and fold this one over it. So I'll pin it down for you to see. So I'll just stitch this one. Okay, so I hope this is clear to you, like so. I said this is how it will be. Okay, so I then I open it up, so I'll stitch this one all around. By the time I'm done stitching, then I'll have it like this. I will then use this one, I'll just fold it slightly over the neckline. Okay, and I will stitch. Okay, so that is it. So I'll go right away and stitch this inner one first of all. So I hope you can see I've already stitched the inner one. So now I have this one left. I will fold it over like this. Okay, then by the time I fold it over, I will then fold it a little bit to cover the seam like so, and I will stitch. Okay, so I hope you can see this. I'll go ahead and stitch all around. So I'll start from this side. Okay, I'll bring it like this, then fold it in a little bit like so. So I won't be able to move my camera to the sewing machine, so that is why I'm just showing you what to do here. You just fold it. So as you fold, you stitch. As you fold, you stitch, and make sure you're covering the seam, this seam. Okay, so you just stitch all around and you have your collar. Okay, so that is just it. So I'll stitch it, and you'll see what we'll have there. Okay, so let me go ahead and stitch it. So I have sewn the collar to it, and you can see what I have. Okay, so this is it for our collar and our cape, our neckline. So now to the sleeve. Okay, So for the sleeve, it should be just a basic sleeve. That is the main part of the sleeve, just a basic sleeve. Then the other parts, let me just show you how to cut it. So I have a tutorial on this channel on how to draft and cut a basic sleeve. So I'll drop the link in the description box below so I can check it. So for my sleeve parts, I have cut out what I'll be needing. So let me explain to you. So you can see the dress on the screen. Sorry, the drawing is not nice at all, but just for illustration purpose. So this is the basic sleeve. Like I said, I have a tutorial on this channel on how to draft a basic sleeve. So from this part to this part is the basic sleeve, okay, and it is 8 inches long. So the total of my sleeve from here to this point, when I measured on my hand, is 23 inches. So the Ankara fabric part, okay, that is this basic sleeve part, is 8 inches plus half inch. The half inch is for joining it at this point to the ruffle part. So the ruffle part from here to here is 12 inches that I cut out. Is one, that is, this is it here, okay. So it's 12 inches. Then I'll be putting elastic at the midpoint here. So then this band side, the band is 4 inches. So I added half inch to this 12 inches because I'll be joining it. So it's supposed to be 1 inch, but I just added half. So then the band part, this band part is 4 inches, okay, plus half inch for joining it at this point, at this part. So that is just how I have cut out my fabric, okay. So the basic sleeve, here it is. I have two of it. So it is 8 inches from this point to this point plus half inch for joining it. So this is the two. Then this is the ruffle part. Here it is. I have two of it, okay, 12 inches. Then the band, I have two of it, okay, 4.5 inches or so. And I folded it, so I doubled it, so I won't have to start joining or adding lining to it. So that is how the band would be, okay. So now to making the ruffle, which is the next part, I wouldn't want to go, okay, I wouldn't want to just stress myself. Ordinarily, I would have made a piping at the midpoint where I would pass my elastic. That is, I would have made a casing, okay, like cutting another fabric. By the time I cut another fabric, then I would sew the fabric like 1 inch or the length that can take in this elastic. Just sew it at that is, sew the fabric at the midpoint like bias. Or let me use my tape as example. So you just cut out your fabric and you stitch it to the midpoint. You just measure the midpoint and you mark it. Then you will stitch on this side and on this side so that your elastic can pass through it. But I wouldn't want to start cutting out any fabric or stitching. So what I will do, I'll just fold the midpoint of this fabric. I'll fold it like so. Okay, so that is what I want to do. So if you, in case you're working with a pattern fabric, or that is with any other fabric that is not plain, you would do this on the wrong side of the fabric. So I'll fold it like so, and I would sew, let me see, just what I will sew is the space that would contain my elastic, okay. So let me measure and see. So 0.7 inches is okay. So I'll just stitch by 0.7 inches. So this part I am stitching, I am supposed to actually include it in the length of this fabric, but I didn't do that. But no problem. So I'll be reducing my ruffle part by, so 0.7 times 2. This is it. So I'll be reducing my ruffle part by this length, which is still not bad. So because this side and this other side put together, that is what I mean. So I'll just mark on 0.7 inches and I would sew it straight. Okay, so by the time I sew it, whatever I have here will be my casing for my elastic to pass through. Okay, another way of doing that is stitching the elastic directly on top.
but I don't like that idea because you have to pull and pull your elastic until and it won't last because this elastic dey slack easily. But by the time you make a casing and you pass your elastic through it, whenever the elastic slacks, you can easily bring it out from the casing and replace it. Okay, so that is why I would create a casing for mine, and this is the simplest way to go about it. So like I said, I'll mark 7 points, that is 0.7 inches. That is it. This is 0.7 inches here. So that is just what I will use. I'll sew all the way down, and I'll do same for this. So I'll go ahead and do that and you will see it. So, and one more thing, the width of this one for the ruffle is 3 times. Okay, it's 3 times the width of the basic sleeve. So that is what I cut. 3 times what I have here. Okay, that is how long this one is. Okay, so that is it. Now to make it easy, I have folded it and I held it with my pin. Okay, then I pressed it. Now I will just mark my 0.7 inch. Okay, so I'll just mark 0.7 inch all the way down, then I will stitch. Okay, so I've sewn it, and you can see what I have here. Okay, so I'll open it up now. Then I would pass my elastic through it. So this is what I have on the right side, on the good side of the fabric. Okay, so now I have cut out my elastic. So the round sleeve, okay, where I'll have this ruffle, the round measurement there is 12 inches, but I cut out 13 because I'll be stitching by half inch. Okay, so half plus half, that is 1 inch. So I added extra 1 inch to the round sleeve measurement at that point. So now I would pass it through using safety pin. Okay, and that is why I made sure I made the piping wide enough, not just for the elastic to be able to pass through, but also for my safety pin to be able to pass through. So now I've placed it like this and I will pass it through. So this is just how I want to do it. Okay, actually I've not seen this anywhere, though I don't know if some other people have done it this way, but this just occurred to me now. We are usually used to the one who creates the piping with another fabric, but this just occurred to me. I decided to try it out, so and I hope it turns out good. So in order not for my elastic to move in, by the time I have gotten a little bit in, I will just use my pin to hold this one here so that it will not move in. Then I'll continue passing my elastic through. So I hope this turns out nice. So actually before doing this, you can stitch it to your basic sleeve. You can first of all stitch to your basic sleeve. Okay, so you can first of all stitch it to your basic sleeve, then you pass your elastic. So whichever one you want to do is okay. Whichever one you want to do first is okay. So having gotten out from here, I'll still hold it down with my pin. Okay, and this is what I have. So you can see this. So now one part of it will be joined to the basic sleeve. So you can see why I said you can actually do it first. You can actually join it. So in order to join it, what you will do is just to gather it. Okay, so just gather it, make sure you have it there. Okay, so let me just remove the elastic and do it first. That is, join it to the basic sleeve first. It will be easier that way. Okay, so this is what I mean. I will just gather it. So I'll gather this part to fit in to the basic sleeve, and I'll gather the lower part also to fit into to the band. So by the time I've gathered it, I'll now fix my elastic here. Okay, so let's do it that way and see. So you can just simply make a running stitch. So I'll make a running stitch at this point, or another way to do it is just to find the midpoint. Okay, because I just like doing my things straightforward at times. Sometimes if you follow all the protocol, you might be taking a lot of time. So I'll also find the midpoint of my basic sleeve. Now notch it. So attach it midpoint to midpoint. Remember, this is the good side. So I'll just fix it like so. Hope you're seeing what I'm doing. So I'll just pin it here. Then I'll pleat these ones. So let me turn it. I'll then pleat it. I'll also fix this one here. Okay, then I'll just pleat. So that is what I'll do. I'll just pleat the excess. I'll do the same thing to this side. By the time I'm done doing that, I'll also do same to the band. So you can see it. I have joined it here and joined it to the band. So it's better this way, okay? And it's beautiful already. So now I can then pass through the elastic. So let's see what we have there. So I'll still pin it here so it doesn't go in. So I can now remove my safety pin. This is beautiful. Wow. Can you see what we have here? This is beautiful, isn't it? So you can see. Wow. So you can just spread the ruffle to how you want it. This is nice. I'm happy I did it this way. It came out nice. It's fine. So now I would go ahead and stitch it and attach it to my dress. Okay, and you see the outcome of it. So I'll go ahead and attach it and we'll have it. So by the time it is worn on the body and you adjust it, you have your ruffle, okay, the way you want it. So that is it for this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have subscribed to this channel. If you haven't done so, please hit on that subscribe button below and turn on the notification bell so that you will not miss out on any upload. Okay, and I have a lot coming up on this channel and I know you will not want to miss out, so please subscribe and turn on the notification bell, and please give this video a like. It will encourage me to do more. Okay, and share this with your friends. Just use the share button, share it everywhere: Facebook, WhatsApp, Telegram, everywhere, Pinterest, okay, so that others too can learn and also join this wonderful family. Let's grow into a wonderful community. Thank you so much for watching. See you in my next video.